Hello, Tiger fans, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Hey Corner Crew podcast. I am, as always, your host, JJ Lang, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Nate the Little Goon Foss.
Hey.
Dan Scully, unfortunately, was not able to be here today because his internet died. So Dan is currently working on fighting Spectrum to get control of his phone back, and his laptop. So
That's really why I'm sad, not because hockey season's
we're
over.
more sad that Scully's not here because, like we said before, Scully's the reason you all watch this show. So.
True. True.
We do have a couple games to go over. It is not going to be a fun one, but it is going to kind of be one that we do have to go over. It sucks. The season, unfortunately, came to an end a couple weeks back. The College of the Holy Cross did take us down in a 3-game series for the semifinals. And then they, of course, moved on to the championship game while we were sent packing. But we're going to go over this real quick because that weekend was not without some high points. There was some great memories to be had there. There was some good hockey to be played in at least one game. But we're going to go over this real quick. I'm going to pass it to Nate, and we're going to kind of just breeze through this because there are some more things we want to talk about that are a little bit more positive.
Yeah. Friday, probably the hardest one to take of the two losses. Wasn't much for scoring, a 1-0 overtime win for Holy Cross. That was about it. JJ's video just died.
We're going to just have Zoe put Better Me on
Insert Better JJ here.
We're going to just have Better Me be on the whole thing this week because nobody wants to see my face anyway, so.
Hardest part of this game was you put 40 shots on net and you can't get one.
Credit to Grandy, man.
Jason Grandy, he
had the weekend of his life.
I'll mention this in a moment. He got snubbed from the all-tournament team.
Yeah,
anyway, both teams went 0-for-2 on the power play. I mean, we had a power play in overtime. We couldn't capitalize. So, it kind of sucks that the power play went, which was a high point for most of the season, went cold right at the end. It's not good. Again, Jason Grandy probably stole game one for them in a series that kind of mirrored last year's Sacred Heart series, except the other way. I thought Tommy Scarfoni stole game one against Sacred Heart last year, and Jason Grandy stole game one for them this year against us. So
there was a shot we had in that game. I think it was in the second period where no, was it the second? It might have been the first. I
know which one you're talking about. I don't remember when it was.
Lasky had a laser, and Grandy was on the ground, and he just kind of lifted his leg up and kicked it into the air, and
then it fell right under him.
Oh, that goal could have changed the weekend.
We win the hockey game.
That game's over at that point because Tommy would have had a shutout. If
we score first, we win the hockey game.
Yes.
And I think that was a similar situation on Sunday too, but we'll get there.
We'll get that.
Saturday, a lot more eventful.
Oh, yes.
Penalty parade yet again for both teams, though, so it's okay, I guess. Cody Laskowski got us on the board on a power play goal in the first. It was 1-0 in the first, and then the second period was on crack.
Pretty much.
Back and forth. Holy Cross tied the game at 1.
1-1.
About a minute, and then a minute and a half later, Wilkie put us back in the lead, 2-1, and then Liam McClinsky, the go-to guy all weekend, all playoffs for them, scored 2 goals in less than 30 seconds, and it was not looking good. But then JoJo from his spot, per usual.
Yep.
Tied the game at 3 with about a minute and a half left, and then there was nothing in the third besides a lot of penalties. And then
overtime yet again,
and Elijah Gonzalez, probably with the biggest goal of his career, keeping us alive and I'll tell you what, I cried after that goal. I was stressed.
That
I
that
I hugged
breakaway
about
too.
10 random people. It was a 5-on-2 going the other way.
Yeah,
which
if we didn't,
at that point, if we don't score there, we're in trouble.
if we don't score that, we probably would have lost.
Holy
honestly,
Cross
God.
had Holy Cross had 3 guys behind our 5 guys,
Yep.
and if they somehow don't score and the puck gets hit up to them, it's
a 3-0.
night. Yeah, maybe a 3-on-1. Maybe somebody gets back, but it's. And that was really the only positive of the weekend. This sucks. I hate talking about losing.
Yeah.
I thought you can't blame the officials for anything this weekend.
There was good calls made. There was a lot of calls that were missed on both sides. We can all admit that. There was a bunch of penalties where I sat there. There was a bunch where I sat there going like, "Wow, that how was that not called for both teams?"
My only gripe with them is forever. If you've watched hockey for a long time, playoff hockey, you're supposed to let them play. Mm-hmm. And I think there were times where the referees were trying to manage the game too much. But that's all I'll say about it. I thought they were fine. The only thing I didn't agree with was the Wilkie game misconduct.
Yeah, that was a bunch of crap.
Game 3.
That kind of screwed us, honestly.
Could you give it a 2 minutes for kneeing? And I could even live with a 10-minute misconduct, but it's not how the rule's written. Sucks that the rule's written the way it is. We scored first on Sunday, apparently,
and then they took it back.
The referees didn't see that, even though it was clearly in. But I'm not going to get into that.
I'll even say, like, when we were sitting there in the lobby waiting to get in, Dom, who people might know if you've been to enough games and know a bunch of people well enough. Dom drove to Rochester from Syracuse for every men's home game for the most part, and pretty much every women's home game also. And he also drove out for away games at different sites also. So if there's an MVP person this year that you're going to like highlight fan-wise for being the most dedicated, it goes to Dom, and there is no other argument besides that. So
where are you going with this?
So he looked at me and he said, whoever scores in the first 10 minutes of the first period is winning this game, because they will take the momentum and run with it. And at the 10-minute mark, they effectively scored on themselves, because it was I think it was McClinsky might have accidentally tipped it over the line, and on from our angle, both down up front and from the angle we saw from up above, that puck very clearly crosses the line, all the way, which I'm kind of like, I don't know how you missed that. And they come out, they call it nothing, and then Holy Cross comes out a few minutes later, and boom, there they go. Now they've got one.
They're up 2-0 after the first period, and I think
that was almost,
you could kind of feel like that's it.
That was kind of insurmountable. We did get one back.
Obviously got one back, but then that was it.
I don't think the final score of Sunday really goes to show how close that game was.
It wasn't really all that close.
I mean, it was back and forth. Like, both teams, shot-wise, were somewhat similar. From what I remember, it was 2 weeks ago now, but...
I mean, 25-19 were the final shots. I mean,
it's similar-ish. It's close enough.
26-24, sorry.
I also think our guys were probably just gassed on Sunday, because they had almost 90 shots on goal.
It doesn't help when you have to kill 2 major penalties.
No, it doesn't.
And I mean, what did we say? The penalties were an issue for this team all year, and they were able to survive it for the most part. But in the end, even if you don't give up goals, it's still going to cost you.
Because it's less time you have to potentially make shots on goal.
Well, and that was it. Season ends. I think we'll look back. I mean, we're going to do our season recap in a couple
weeks,
maybe in a week or two here. But I think we'll look back on it and say, hey, this was a heck of a year.
Oh, 100%. You can't take away what they accomplished.
It just still sucks because, I mean, I made the mistake of going to the championship game, Canisius and Holy Cross, and man, that just...
Yeah.
That one hurt. because that was supposed to be our trophy.
I mean, you said it.
Although hell, if you would have told me the championship game was going to be Canisius and Holy Cross, I would have called you crazy if you told me that in September. So, yeah, it's tough.
But we move on to talk about other things.
Yeah.
The Atlantic Hockey Awards did come out last week, and needless to say, to no one's shock, there was a lot of orange on that list.
A lot of orange.
So let's kind of go through that real quick. Let's go through like the first team and all that, because
I'm not doing the second and third team. They're irrelevant.
First team is literally
we
all
don't have
us, pretty
anybody
much.
on them. We didn't even put anybody on the rookie team either. Like, we were first team or no team.
That shocked me.
I wasn't. Our freshmen were good.
I mean, you could make an argument for Tyler Mahan, but
yeah, I could see the argument. But looking at the guys they put on the list,
it does make sense.
First team, basically all orange except for
two.
Neil Shea from Sacred Heart and Blake Bennett from AIC. And they rightfully so deserve to be up there. There were a couple guys on the second team that deserved to be on the first team, and they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Eric Esposito from Mercyhurst. He could have been first team. I think you could have swapped out a couple guys, but Carter Wilkie, one of the forwards.
Shocker.
Yep. Surprise, surprise. JoJo and Aiden Hansen-Bukata, both defensemen on the first team. Shocker. And the goaltender is none other than Tommy Scarfoni. Yeah. It was the
sea of orange. That was very expected. I think all of us I think knew that it was good, because we had all kind of predicted in Discord that it was Wilkie, JoJo, and Tommy would be in the first team.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody really thought that. I think everybody knew Hansen-Bukata would be in there somewhere, but I don't think we all expected him to be first team, which was awesome to see.
I did. He had 30 points.
Okay, that's very true.
He had 30 assists.
Because he was, I'm pretty sure
it.
he ended his season third in the country in terms of assists by a defenseman, and seventh in the country for assists overall.
He finished 10th overall after this past weekend.
Yeah, that's still insane.
So it's pretty impressive. He's not a selfish player, which is nice.
No.
2 goals, and he scored a goal in the second game of the year.
Yeah.
I think both his goals came against Army. I'm not even kidding. In that first
I think you're
conference
right,
series.
honestly. They might have been.
I'm checking. I'm looking now.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, because he scored the empty net goal on Saturday and scored the game winner on Friday.
This man was captain assist all year.
I love it. I'll take that.
This man was like that Oprah meme. You get a goal, and you get a goal, and you get a goal.
He had no points against the Union to start, and then
just went insane after that.
He had a 3-point weekend against Army.
I remember
with 2 goals and an assist. And I was like, oh, maybe Aiden's going to score a lot this year from the back end. Nope.
No,
he's just going to be feeding guys. I mean, he was feeding JoJo a lot.
Oh my God, the two of them together.
I'd love to know how many of his assists were to JoJo on the power play.
Yeah, that was kind of nuts.
But I could spend the time to look it up, but I'm not going to.
No.
And then we have a bunch of other awards. I guess I'll just go through the whole list for all of them.
Yeah.
We'll go from bottom to top here. The Sportsmanship Award goes to not RIT.
Shocker.
Is there an opposite for the Sportsmanship Award? So basically, the Sportsmanship Award was the least penalized team in the country.
Definitely not us.
Not us. That was definitely Sacred Heart. I thought they were I remember the 2 games against them. They didn't take a lot of penalties. So, the Individual Sportsmanship Award goes to Braden Tuck from Sacred Heart.
He had 2 penalties the whole year?
He did not have a lot. Yeah, let me see here. He had 2 minors in 37 games.
That's insane.
In his 4 seasons with Sacred Heart, he's only been whistled for 4 in 124 games.
This guy is.
That's nuts. That's actually kind of nuts.
So either he's just that disciplined or he gets away with a lot.
The goaltending champion, which is based on statistics,
was garbage.
Jarrett Fisk from AIC. I mean, rightfully so. He had the best stats.
Okay, but
all of them.
Here's my problem with him getting it.
Whatever.
Well, I'm just gonna say, he only played in 16 games the whole year. So everyone's like, if you look at sample size, there were guys who played way more that had slightly worse stats than him. So it's like
he played in 24 games. So he played in
most,
65% of the team's games. So all right, I can live with it. He had 2 shutouts this year too. He had 10 wins. So, and he had 2 points. So whatever.
2 assists.
Tommy's the first team goaltender, so that's goalie of the year in my opinion.
Honestly.
Eric Esposito won the scoring title. He had 32 points. Or he had 28 points in Atlantic Hockey, which is what gets him the scoring title. I think Carter Wilkie did have the most points total with 40, but they do it by conference points, so
which makes sense for your conference awards.
Carter Wilkie's still the player of the year, so flex. Best defensive forward, Cody Laskowski. He had a 9-game scoring streak.
Cody, all I do is sit in the box, Laskowski.
hey, he owns Jacob Barchevsky. So.
He does. He's still Jacob's dad.
I hope Jacob comes back next year to Canisius. I want to use that again. Best defenseman, Aiden Hansen-Bukata.
Of course.
Shocker.
I mean, you had to know he was going to get it.
Coach of the year is none other than the GOAT,
Wayne Wilson.
18-7-1. Took our first regular season title in 12 years. So
that's pretty awesome.
Coach, he deserved it. I couldn't really make it. I mean, I guess you could say Bill Riga from Holy Cross, but these were regular season awards, not postseason awards. So, Rookie of the Year was Max Itagaki from Army. He had a heck of a year. He's going to be a pain in our butt for the next 3 years, I bet.
Yes, he is.
And then Player of the Year, called it at the beginning of the year, Carter Wilkie.
Yep. So Wilkie now has Rookie of the Year last year and Player of the Year this year, and he will most likely get Player of the Year the next 3 seasons. So just get out of his way, let him do his thing, and we'll be good.
Lots of awards. Fortunately, not the one we wanted, but
still,
like I said, it's still
recognition.
It still sucks right now, just because it's still so fresh. But I mean, we'll be more positive, hopefully.
Yes.
In the season recap, in a couple weeks here, we got to find time to put together what we want to talk about and.
Might have might also have a guest on for that. Might not. Can't confirm anything just yet. We'll see what happens there.
Who knows?
I think we'll be doing. I'm pretty sure. I'm safe to say we'll be doing the women's season recap first.
Yes.
And then the men's
afterwards. Now that the women's season is, we'll probably women's hockey season is over.
Yes.
We'll probably wait until at least the Frozen Four for the men.
Yeah. We'll probably wait to see how far Canisius gets and then go from there because. Good luck in North Dakota.
Dang, Minnesota.
Wouldn't want to be ya.
Hey, no, real quick on that, though. There's going to be a lot of North Dakota fans there, and they hate the Gophers, so there's going to be a lot of Canisius fans in that building. So I hope there's...
Are you kidding? Did you smoke something today?
JJ, all the North Dakota fans are going to be cheering for Canisius.
Oh, okay, no.
That's what I mean by that.
I thought you meant like actual Canisius fans. I'm like, are you serious? No, that makes total sense what you just said there. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. Do you think they're going to go out there for this?
No, my sister was actually like, oh, thank God that they were in North Dakota so she didn't have to plan that trip, which I kind of
I don't blame her for
understand
that. That's a hike getting out there.
Yeah.
We were all talking about if like had we made it, we're like, how are we gonna get out there? And a couple of us were like, we're just gonna get flights and hotels and done it.
Yeah. Good thing we don't have to worry about it, I guess.
The next thing we're gonna do after this, now that we've kind of wrapped up the awards on that, we're gonna go over the.
Canisius won
Yes.
the Atlantic Hockey Championship 3-0. If you didn't see,
Yes.
in a game that wasn't a 3-0 hockey game.
No,
it was 1-0 until the end.
That score is not reflective of how close that game, how good that game was.
I'll be honest. It was a good hockey game, which I was it was sloppy for a good chunk of it.
Honestly, Holy Cross's offense screwed, Grandy out of a shutout. They should definitely have scored in that game. They had some shots.
Also, they picked Jacob Barchowski for the all-tournament team for goaltender.
Garbage.
Totally
it should have been Grandy.
That's garbage. Grandy's the reason they got there.
Yes.
And
without him, they go absolutely nowhere.
Like, I'm fine with you giving Barchowski the MVP. Because, yes, I agree. But if you're going to give him the MVP, you can't give him the goalie, too. Sorry. When the other guy gave up one goal in a deciding game 3 against the number 1 team in the conference, is the only reason they won game 1.
And then shut them out.
Made over 100 saves in the semifinal series. And over 100 in the first series against AIC. Yeah, sorry.
That's Grandy's award.
I don't know. I don't know who votes for that, but it was horrible. I got to boo Di Gregorio for the last time. That was very fun. My mom was like, "Be nice," and I said, "No, I hate him."
Good riddance. Michelle, when do you start? Riddance. We want you on the pod.
Nobody's. I think she technically starts
in a couple days.
She starts April 10th after the Monday after the Frozen Four. I think is when she said she starts.
Good. So what that means is we can email them and get her on the pod. So we can
get her on the pod. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I feel like she might do it.
I'd give her some suggestions.
Yeah.
No.
Fire Binda.
Well, he's retiring too, dude. So
okay, fire his son.
I got to boo him too.
Oh, he was there. Damn it! I should have gone with you.
He dropped the ceremonial puck.
Gross.
Which is funny. He couldn't even do that right. He gets up there and goes whack. And he's like, "Oh, we gotta take a picture." Oh, okay. So he picked it up and then dropped it again. I'm like, so idiot. Bad you had to do it twice, huh?
You idiot.
Good riddance. Nobody's gonna miss you.
No one's gonna miss either of them. All right. So now that we've gotten through the season awards, we're gonna go and talk about the seniors that are going to be moving on. We've heard various reports about whether or not certain guys are staying or not. We're not going to talk about that because we really don't know as of just yet if those are confirmed or not. I think from what we understand,
we're pretty sure on a few of them.
We're pretty sure a few of them.
We're not gonna. We don't want to be.
I don't want to
It's not our decision to make. It's not.
I mean, we hope those guys that have been rumored do come back.
Believe me, I would take all of these guys back in a heartbeat.
I think we all would take everybody back. If we could have the same team again next year, I'd love it.
What sucks is that we've been so spoiled the last couple of years with guys having extra COVID years the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And the fact that we only get one more class of that after this class, it's
kind of sucks.
Like Tommy doesn't have one. Wilkie doesn't have one.
Could you imagine 5 years of Tommy Scarfoni? I would lose my ever-loving mind.
It's only a sophomore. I can't.
Good Lord. Anyways, let's go numerically from smallest number to largest number, I guess.
Certainly not the smallest player, that's for sure. I'm going to start with Spencer Berry.
Oh, yeah. Sarah Rhodes' favorite player.
There are so many good things to say about Spencer.
The brick wall.
I remember when he started at RIT. In the 2000s, he's a grad student, graduating this year with a master's degree from RIT. He's a phenomenal shutdown defenseman. He didn't put up a lot of points, put up a good amount of penalty minutes. I'll just say this. What kind of a player was Spencer Berry? He blocked 77 shots this year. 77.
Hell of a defenseman.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I thought him and Nicholson together, or him and Casero this year, were absolutely phenomenal.
The brick wall before the brick wall.
I was so happy, and I can attest for everybody when he scored that goal against AIC this year.
Oh my god.
Oh, that felt
First
so
collegiate goal.
good.
The
Good.
The Discord went absolutely insane.
That was the
like,
game we
Barry
had to
scored.
watch. We had the watch party
Yeah, we did. That's true.
for that game, and watching him score, that was so fun.
That was awesome.
He'd worked so hard for it, and then to finally get rewarded. And I remember the bench just going absolutely ballistic.
I wish he had scored at home. That would have been even better.
Oh, I would have ran around the building.
Nate would have probably jumped onto the ice to give him a hug.
He was one of those guys that would do anything you asked him to. He was a great penalty killer.
Mm-hmm.
He, like we said, he didn't do a lot on the score sheet, but finished his career in 125 games, which for college hockey is a lot. 1 goal, 16 assists for 17 points. This was his best year statistically. I think that is an attest to who he was playing with. Between splitting time with Nicholson and Casero, I think he was with Aiden a little bit too. Not a
little bit with Aiden Heads-Bukata, yeah, but mostly with Nicholson.
And I thought those two. I think coming into the year, we said that pair is going to be the best shutdown pair in Atlantic hockey,
and they were.
I would say they were. So, Spencer, we know isn't coming back, which sucks. But.
Yeah. But you know what? We got one more year of him, so we have one more year of him this year.
His 5 years here, I think like I said, he's not going to get the recognition that he deserves because he didn't put up the points. But anybody who really knows the game of hockey knows how valuable he was to this team.
Oh my God, yes. And there's no replacing him either. Like, you can't just plug someone in and expect to get the same sort of production like he did. Like, he was that good.
Our next guy, kind of a fun story to tell. Calvin Boots.
Bootsy, man.
Started off his collegiate career at AIC. Thank you for coming to the good side and finally seeing the light. Mm-hmm. Longtime teammate of Caleb Moritz, by the way. So I think we can thank Caleb for him coming to RAT.
Well, I think we know for a fact that Caleb kind of, when Bootsy went to the portal, he was like, dude, come here.
Yeah, that was because they played together all through high school up in Fairbanks, Alaska. So, no, there's not a lot of hockey up in Alaska. So if you see two guys from Alaska, they probably played together.
Yep, they find each other like little kids.
I remember his first game at RAT was the COVID year against Clarkson. And he was all over those guys. Again, another guy that didn't put up a ton of points. He was scratched a lot.
He didn't play at all last year.
Especially last season. He played 4 games last year.
And it kind of became the meme of, is Calvin Boots ever going to play? Because everyone's like, what happened to him? And then 1 week, it just changed.
And then this season, they transitioned him to forward. And let me tell you what.
Best decision
I would take him back. That line it was Jeffrey and Trumbla kind of going back and forth with each other. Mm-hmm. And then Boots and Petrucci. That 4th line this year was unbelievable.
And Mahan was in there too a bunch.
Mahan was in there every once in a while, and then some injuries kind of moved Mahan up the lineup. But, I mean, he had 5 goals this year. I remember that first one against Princeton. I just remember everybody going ballistic.
The Boots when he scored was the best.
Yeah, that was great.
He was also the one who he was also presented with the ability to sign Aaron Huss's actual boot when Aaron busted up his ankle. That was fun. Is this the weirdest thing you've ever signed? Yes.
Boots didn't play until
love that
October 29th against Holy Cross. That was his first game of the year this year.
Was
And
he a defense or forward in that game?
forward.
Okay.
And his second game of the year was against Princeton where he scored, and then he didn't come out of the lineup after that.
Yeah,
he
he became a force to be reckoned with in that lineup.
Yeah. So best part about that goal is a game winner.
Oh yeah, it was the best.
So, and then he had the game winner down at Arizona State in the second game. So, I don't know if he's coming back. Obviously, we don't know that. I would definitely take him back in a heartbeat.
I would love him back.
He was a great role player for us.
Especially after his transition, 100% taken back in a heartbeat.
My favorite Calvin Boots moment was when he ran Jacob Barchevsky at Canisius. And
sort of
the Canisius commentators called it malicious. And he started a brawl, and then immediately the next night scores the first goal of the game 2 minutes in. So I enjoyed that a lot.
That was amazing.
Definitely gonna miss Bootsy if he doesn't come back.
Yeah,
I thought he was a great kind of a didn't see coming guy this year. He was so good. We were campaigning for him. Me and my dad were campaigning for him to win Fans Choice Award. So,
which I think that means he didn't.
He got my vote. I'll say that. And I take a lot of things into consideration for my vote. I don't just write down some random name. And he got my vote. And I was going back and forth between a bunch of guys. So this was definitely the hardest year for me to vote for that.
A lot of good dudes this year.
Yeah, it was a fun year for sure. Next one is Colton Trumblaugh. Colton, thank you for changing your number. Midway through your career. I hate when guys do that. Had no idea who number 11 was for about 2 years after you changed your number. Well, because I think he changed it during the COVID year too, so it was only after his first year.
Yeah, a lot of guys switched numbers during the COVID year.
Not being there kind of hurt it. 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points in his career in 46 games. Another guy, role player on the fourth line. Mm-hmm. And I hate numbering lines because people say, oh, the fourth line, they're not that good, which is not true at all. No. Every line has a role, and he executed his role on that fourth line perfectly.
Yep.
And it was just tough for him to crack the lineup, I think, some nights. But
highlight of the season for him was him getting to score on senior night.
Goal on senior night, getting the first goal.
Oh, that was the best.
Especially seniors that don't play a ton, getting goals on senior night is the absolute best thing ever. Because, their family's in town, and it was...
You get to score. I mean, we went absolutely mad when he scored. I
think that goal got the loudest cheer of the night. I'm pretty sure when Rocky announced it. It was his only point of the season. And it was his first goal since his freshman year, where he had 2.
Man.
So that was
what a way to cap off his senior season was to score in his last
what sucks game. That was his last game as a Tiger, and it just sucks because I think they put Adam Jeffrey in the next game.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey had 2 goals. And how do you justify taking him out of the lineup after he played so well?
You can't.
I say this every year. We got a lot of guys that, if they don't go on to play hockey, I think they're going to go on to do a lot of big things. And I want to say it now. Any guy that we're talking about now is always welcome in the corner anytime they're back.
You come back and sit with us anytime you guys want.
Yeah. Next guy, one Gianfranco Casero.
Big Jojo Casero.
What a steal.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. How in the ever-loving hell did UMass let him leave and come here? I mean, obviously something's up with UMass because they have like an exodus right now of guys leaving that team. My God.
Let me just go through this here. Ready? This was only this season. This was arguably his best season, and he's only played one more year other than this year. But 2023 Atlantic Hockey First Team All Conference. Check. Hobie Baker Award nominee. Check. Atlantic Hockey Player, not defenseman, Player of the Month of October.
Check.
Defensive Player of the Week 4 times. Got absolutely robbed a couple times. Should have been way more than that.
Yep. Check.
What a year for JoJo this year. Coming in from UMass, he'd only played 10 game. He played 10 games in their run to the 2021 national championship. He is a national champion, by the way, so don't forget that. He's got a ring. He's gonna get another one next year. Anyway, played 38 games last year. 8 points, 3 goals, 5 assists. I think he had that in October. So,
I mean, I remember our interview with Ed Trevsker where we asked him, like, who the standout guy this year for him was, and he said JoJo. He was like, he was not disappointing, but I think people expected more out of him last year, and then this year he came out guns blazing, was like, and this is why he was on UMass for a while.
I was kidding when I said I think he got that in October. He got more than that in October.
Oh my God.
He had 4 goals, 7 assists in October. Finished the year with 32 points, 14 goals, 18 assists, 6 power play goals, which is where he made his living.
Yeah.
His one-timer is Ovechkin.
Yeah.
And I'm not the one that made that comparison. That was I believe it was I don't know who said it. It might have been Aiden. It might have been Cody that made that comparison. But anyway, it's beautiful.
It's a shot.
The moment I know we're gonna go through this, it's gonna be something we talk about in the season recap. We'll go through our favorite moments of the year, but my favorite moment of the year easily was his overtime winner against Mercyhurst.
1,000%.
That goal. I mean, anybody who knows me knows I hate overtime, and especially in the playoffs, I get stressed.
It's gross. I
think I sat there with my head in my hands, looking through my fingers with my eyes when that goal. And JJ knows I got down the stairs with the broom so fast.
I don't think the puck had hit the back of the net, and I look over my shoulder, and Nate is just going at Mach 8 down the steps with the freaking broom.
He was phenomenal this year. They didn't honor him on senior night, which makes me think he's coming back. Yeah. Again, we don't want to speculate on anything. It's not something for us to talk about, really. But in 77 games as a Tiger, he has 44 points.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He stepped up big this year because losing Dan Willett, we thought was really going to hurt our team. And I think, I look at it last year, JoJo played 2 years at UMass, didn't really play much his first year and didn't really play much his second year. His second year was COVID. Mm-hmm. So last year really was his first true year of college hockey playing.
Yeah.
And that's an adjustment, especially at a new school. So I think this year, being familiar with the school, being familiar with the system and the coaches and the players on the team and especially the league. Atlantic hockey is not an easy league to play defense in.
No, it's not.
So, which Atlantic hockey has been getting a lot of crap this week. So, I will defend it till the day I die. But
even though we went out of it. I said, even though we went out of it.
Shh, don't talk about that. Anyway, I thought he was a great addition last year. He was phenomenal this year. He deserved. I think he was second for Player of the Year.
He probably was, honest to God. He definitely was.
So, he was at least top 5 in that voting. So, if he comes back, I will be ecstatic. If he doesn't and pursues other opportunities, I hope they're professionally. I think he has the means to play professionally. He is definitely good enough
to play pro hockey. He definitely is.
And he showed it this year, too.
Yes, he did.
Our next senior, Elijah Gonzalez.
The great Gonzo himself.
Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah.
If they voted on it, and it is an award, I think, I don't think it's called Comeback Player of the Year, but it's definitely an award they give out at the banquet. I think you have to give it to Elijah Gonzalez.
Yep.
His injury last year, I believe it was a hip.
And it was early in the year. Like, he did not play most of the season.
He played 15 games last year.
And
he played towards the end of the year, and you could tell he wasn't himself.
No,
you could tell he was still playing hurt.
I don't think he played.
He had a phenomenal rookie year. I thought he was on the all rookie team. He had a lot of success his first 2 years. He was on the all academic team. He was an All American scholar. He's smart, which we like. RIT.
Let's just say, just real quick side tangent, like to dispel the notion that like at college athletes are idiots. Like there are guys on this team that are in majors that are really different. Like we were talking before the show, like Carter Wilkie's a biomed major. Like that is not an easy major to just walk through.
A couple years ago, we put all but 2 guys on the all academic team in Atlantic hockey.
Yeah.
That is something I think the coaches pride themselves on.
Oh, student athlete.
I think Brian Hills has said it before. When they're recruiting, they look for, in this order, good people, good students, good hockey players.
Yep.
And I think that's definitely something to be proud of. I know there's a lot of schools where that's not the case. So,
cough, Mercyhurst, cough.
Not that. No. Rick Gotkin has all my respect in the world.
Oh, 100%.
Elijah had a great bounce back year. Played in all 39 games. He had 7 goals, 11 assists for 18 points. 2 game winners. I believe one was 2 game winners. Do you know what they were?
Canisius?
Nope. They were both against Holy Cross, both in overtime.
Oh my God.
He scored the overtime goal back in October, and he scored the overtime goal.
That's kind of wild.
Weekend. 2 game winners, 2 overtime goals, and they were both against Holy Cross. I believe they were both against Grandies too. So,
that's insane.
Heck of a bounce back here for Gonzo. I know we were all so happy to see him back playing like his normal self.
Absolutely.
And that line with him, Moritz, and it was either Isabel, Mahan, Jacques, anybody they put on that line.
Nuts.
I loved Mahan on that line with Gonzo and Moritz. I thought that was a great line for Mahan to play with because all 3 of those guys can move the puck.
Yep. And that
Elijah Gonzalez is a heck of a skater.
He's fast as all hell. Like, oh my God.
He's tiny.
He's lightning quick.
He's only 5'9", but he can move. So, and he's physical too. Like for 5'9", he's physical. And I think that's what I love about him. He's not afraid to get in dirty. And JJ, you and I can both agree on our favorite Gonzo moment. Scored 2 goals in the 3rd period in that Canisius game back in 2020.
My God. He single-handedly brought us back from the dead in that game.
Yep. 2 third period goals helped dig out of a 4-1 deficit and a 5-4 comeback. So,
Elijah, the great Gonzo. Ryan West, get on that, making a bunch of graphics of Elijah Gonzalez's head on Gonzo from the Muppets, please, if you're watching this, because I think you do. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, had a good game, a good year this year. I'm excited if he does come back to see what he can do next year.
Absolutely.
And another year healthy, like completely healthy. Like I think at the start of the year he was still kind of
Yep.
And you could tell towards the end of the year he was finally back.
He was back to being him. Gonzo was back to being Gonzo again.
I'm gonna try not to get emotional for this one. Kobe Walker.
Oh, Kobe. Broken basketball hoop and all. That thing.
What Kobe Walker means to this program, I think,
it's more than you can really put into words.
It's way more than obvious, and I think there's a reason he wore the C this year. And I realized that game 1 of this year why he had a C on his jersey, and it was before they even stepped foot on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
When the 50 or so of us were walking into the building at Union, Kobe Walker was right there, fist bumping everybody as they walked in the door.
That might be my favorite moment of this year.
And
I'm not even lying when I say that either. That might be my favorite moment of this year.
That's why he wears the C on his jersey. That's why he came. That's why I'm sure Wayne brought him back for a 5th year, because he took the captaincy for this team and rolled with it. And everything you heard is he's a great guy in the room. He's
He's a
a
leader.
great teammate. He's picking guys up. When he was hurt, and it sucks the way his career ended. I'm crushed that it ended the way it did. The fact that he stayed on the bench the rest of the game, even though he knew he wasn't going back in, and he stayed on the bench
In uniform.
And that shows you how much he means to the program, how much he means to the team.
Yep.
Guys on the ice. Kobe Walker is definitely going down as one of my favorite Tigers of all time. And
yes,
he always found a way to score a big goal.
As the name goes.
Can I say it?
You can take it this time.
Kobe, all he does is score big fucking goals. Walker.
I love that.
Zoe will bleep that out.
You know what? Let's make T-shirts out of that. We should have done that this year. Made T-shirts out of that.
2 game winners. He scored the game winner at Canisius in that 10-4 blowout. And then he scored the game winner against Bentley late in the year. Kobe in 142 games. This is crazy. Had 40 goals and 40 assists.
That's kind of creepy. I'm not going to lie. It's a little spooky.
One of our favorite Kobe moments, JJ. He scored the game winner in that Canisius game.
And the picture of him literally like Superman airborne.
Eating the boards.
Eating the boards.
Like
and
face
still
first.
scoring was the best.
Oh, he was.
So he's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
There will never be another Kobe.
Gonna,
there will never be another Kobe Walker ever again.
He's gonna be missed.
Big time.
Yeah,
he also was. He was also.
I hope he gets a chance. I hope he gets a chance to play pro hockey. I think he deserves a shot.
I think he'll get a shot too.
So we'll see.
He was also one of the first players to come on the pod and get interviewed this year, and he was an absolute delight getting to talk to.
Oh, absolutely.
He was so much fun getting an interview. I wish we could have gotten him on again, but
also, he also scored the goal that tied the game in Game 3 against Sacred Heart, which I think totally shifted the momentum last year in that game.
Yep. Yes, he did.
Kobe, man, he figured out how to score in the big moments. He always scored the goal when we needed it, and I think that's why I gave him the nickname, because he was, again, he found ways to score when we needed a goal, and he's just I'm gonna miss him a lot. I think the team's gonna miss him a lot, and I actually got to meet his mom last year at Niagara. Aaron has his jersey.
That's right. You're right.
And she came up, and Aaron and I were chatting with her. She's a lovely lady, Kobe. Lovely. And the way I told her, I said, your son is one of my favorite players to watch. And I think Kobe, I've watched a lot of RIT hockey over the years, JJ. And I think it's safe to say Kobe Walker's in my top 10 favorite players at RIT. Yeah. So.
Yep.
It's a tough list to crack. I have high standards.
There's so many good players is the problem. All right, so next on the list of seniors for us to go through is a former Tiger who then became a Tiger, one Mr. Matt Kellenberger.
Better Tiger.
Yes, better Tiger is Mr. Matt Kellenberger, who gave us probably one of the most hype moments of the entire year.
Which one?
The one where he scored against his old team.
Oh, well, yeah. I thought you could have said the playoff goal too against Mercy.
That was pretty awesome too. Yes.
Matt Kellenberger. What can we say about him? He made a good first impression. He had an assist. I believe it was on the first goal of the season. Let me double check.
I think because who scored that first goal? Was it Carter?
Andrew. No, it was Tanner.
That's right.
Carter didn't get one until Army.
Wait. Yes, he scored the next weekend. That's right. Or a couple weekends later.
Freaking CHN. Hang on.
Why are you relying on CHN? We all know it's terrible.
Well, it's quick and easy. It was the second goal.
Yes.
Evan Miller's goal. Anyway, Matt Kellenberger came to us from Princeton after getting his undergrad at Princeton. Played 74 games for Princeton. He only missed. They didn't play during the COVID year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they didn't give the redshirt year or the extra COVID year for that, which is stupid. Thank you, Ivy Leagues.
Yeah,
I hate
Kelly
you.
should definitely have had another year to play.
Yeah. It's stupid. I didn't even realize that, and I said something to him too about that after the game.
I think you made a joke about you can like redshirt and come back, and he was like, "Nah, I kind of can't do that."
Yeah, that's stupid. I hate the Ivy Leagues. Anyway, he played for a former Tiger, Mike Tarantino, in juniors before playing for Princeton, and I'm pretty sure I heard a story that Wayne was trying to recruit Kelly to come here first.
Yes, he did. We did hear that.
Obviously, he took the Ivy League education and the scholarship to Princeton, and then came back. His brother's name is Nathan, apparently, so I like him already. I'm just going through his bio here, so I saw that.
God.
I remember saying, and I'm pretty sure we said it on the podcast when we previewed Princeton, if Kellenberger scores, we're all going to lose our minds.
And that is exactly what happened.
And sure enough, like 2 minutes into the game, he took a shot. I didn't know he had that shot in him.
I think he just took the shot in the hopes of it like getting a deflection, and it just went in.
And it went in. Oh,
because his reaction was like, "Oh my god, I scored!"
He was unbelievable this year. He was a great shutdown defenseman.
Yeah, he was.
He played in. I'm pretty sure he played in every game.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he did. I don't remember him being
missed the Saturday Canisius game, and that was it. He played in every game other than that game.
So he missed one game.
The second time, missed 29 games for us this year.
Wild.
3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. Like I said, that goal against Princeton was amazing. I think we all collectively lost our minds. And I don't think he was brought in to be that point getter. I think he was brought in to be that shutdown defenseman.
Yes, he was.
And be that veteran presence and play on a line with a younger guy, which he did. I mean, I'm pretty sure he played with younger guys all year.
Yeah, wasn't he? Who was he with in that line? Wasn't he with? He was with Jock, wasn't he? Jock and Isabel.
Jock's a forward. Kelly's a defenseman.
No, I mean like in that chunk, that he played with. He was on the ice with them most of the time.
He played with Dimitri a lot. Kellenberger's a defenseman, not a forward.
Oh crap! My bad.
Those are forward. He kind of played with everybody. He played with Barry a lot at the end of the year, which I think those two together, they complement each other so well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And my favorite Matt Kellenberger moment was after the game on Sunday. He came up to us and said thank you.
He said thank you for the single greatest season he'd ever had.
He said that was the most fun season he'd ever had playing hockey. And
that meant a lot to us.
And it sucks because Princeton doesn't get the support that a lot of schools don't get the support that we give our guys. And
that's what honestly keeps
a lot of guys don't
here.
realize that until they get here. So, and that's what gets a lot of guys to come here too. And I'm not tooting our own horn or anything. Yes,
no, it's. I mean, the coaches lean into that. We know that from talking to them. Yeah. Like they're like, yeah, they bring them to big games and be like, yeah, look at the corner, look at these guys, look at how crazy they get. Yeah. Like they use it as a way to get people here.
I say every recruit should come sit in the corner for one game and see how much fun it is, and then you'll be like, I want to play in front of us. So, Matt Kellenberger, he's got an Ivy League degree and an RIT degree in business administration. So,
hey man, this guy's sitting pretty right now.
He's gonna do some big things, and I wish he could come back for one more year, but it's not how it works. I wish they could. Like I said, I wish they could.
One more year of Kelly would be pretty awesome.
Caleb Moritz.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was
Finish your
gonna
thought.
say
Finish your thought.
I still loved the thanks for Kellenberger whiteboard against Princeton, and during warmups they all kept trying to knock it down. And then he comes
Yeah,
out
that
and
was
scores
good.
first, and we all went, "Oh my dude!"
Oh,
Just saying that again. I sat there and threw my hat screaming, and everybody's looking around, and we're all like, "Kellenberger scored against his whole team."
that made the weekend. Like, we lost the next night.
That was my
Like,
favorite goal
5-0,
all
and
year.
I
I'm
was.
just
I
saying,
think
man.
I was pretty miserable after that.
That was
but
my
hey,
favorite. That was my favorite goal all year. It was the
Def-
best
it's
goal
in-
all year.
like I said, we'll do our top 5 moments of the year in the
That's
recap.
number one.
But it's
That's
up
up
there.
there.
It's at least in my top 10.
Oh yeah.
All right, like I said, Caleb Moritz.
Another guy you can talk about with being an absolute brainiac of a human being. Considering,
Biomed.
yeah, and we'll get
Oof.
into more later about what he's doing in the future.
Caleb Moritz last season only had 6 points, and I think he played hurt for most of the year.
I think
was
he
not
did also.
himself.
I believe
He was
had a
not
shoulder
himself
injury.
last year. He was not himself, and you could tell watching him play. I mean, he had he had a great freshman year. This class were phenomenal freshmen.
Oh yes.
One of my favorite Moritz moments was I drove all the way to Toledo to watch the Icebreaker tournament, to watch us play Bowling Green, and Bowling Green was up 2-0 in the third period late in the second. I'm like, oh well, glad I came all the way out here. And then it was Bruce who scored the first goal. I'm pretty sure it was Rinaldi that scored the second goal, and then Caleb Moritz in overtime on a beautiful pass. I don't even know who sent him the puck. And I just remember it was me, Zoe, and the Pep Band. And we all went ballistic because Bowling Green was ranked 17th in the country at the time. We like beating ranked teams. Get over it.
We also liked being a ranked team this year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. That was a great one. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, last year, a tough year for him. This year, he was back to himself.
Mm-hmm. Very much
and
so.
That was, again, he's not a big numbers guy. He had 19 points, 5 goals, 14 assists, 2 goals on the power play, which were, if I remember correctly, were big goals at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He got the one against Union at homecoming, and then one at Bentley.
That goal, talking about that, the Union goal at homecoming.
Wait a second. Was the Bentley goal an own goal? Was that one of the own goals?
It was. You're right. It was an own goal. It was a second own goal.
I'm looking. No, it wasn't. It was the first goal.
Okay.
Of the game. That was Gonzo that got the own goal.
Yes. No. So the goal he had against Union at homecoming, he scored, and obviously the current trooper Carson is good friends with him, and was like, "Hey man, nice goal." And Caleb's response to him was, "I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea that went in until somebody's like, dude, you scored." And he was like, "Wait, really?"
He got that goal, and then I think he got his confidence, and
that it just took. He went off from there.
I mean,
up and away.
Again, kid from Alaska coming down here to play hockey.
Riding them sled dogs to victory.
He missed November because he missed the whole month of November because he had that weird freak leg injury.
Yeah, it was something with his knee,
out at Air
I think
Force.
it was.
And I remember just hearing like the horrors of that, and getting him back against Canisius in December was big. Mm-hmm. I think we missed him in November a little bit. I mean,
yes,
we played well in November, but we missed him a lot in that game. He played on my favorite Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League team, the Flin Flon Bombers, only because I like saying that. The Flin Flon pipeline to RIT is phenomenal. We have a couple guys that played for them. So
Flin Flon Bombers, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
So the pipeline there is phenomenal. Another guy, I'm pretty sure we know he's not coming back because he's gonna go be a doctor.
Yeah, he's going to medical school.
So,
Yeah, good for you, Caleb. You're gonna make
good
more
for
money than
you.
all of us combined. So that's
We'll miss
pretty
you
great.
for sure. Please come back.
With your white coat and stethoscope.
Yeah. Make sure my heart's still working after some of these games.
We should just hire Caleb as just the Corner Crew's resident doctor, so if anyone has a heart attack because of a big game, he can just resuscitate all of us.
Corner Crew cardiologist. That would be amazing.
We're gonna have to tell him that now. That'd be really funny.
We should.
Give him an orange coat to wear, stethoscope and everything.
That'd be so funny. Our next guy, one of our favorites on the podcast.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ryan Nicholson, who had the Ryan. What is this picture? What is this headshot?
Is it the one from his head where he has glasses and like a weird marine buzz cut?
No, it's his headshot from this year. He's got the curly mullet going, and the mustache that you can barely see.
Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm jealous.
My dude's got some drip.
I can't do either. By the way, did you ever get your haircut after the playoffs? By the way,
nope. I'll show it. The mullet is still intact.
Still not
there.
cutting it until
the mullet will stay until we get a championship.
Oh, boys, please.
Regardless of what anybody in my life tells me.
My favorite Ryan Nicholson moment was when he told us why he wears 24.
Oh my God, it was the absolute funniest thing.
If you didn't, I'm not going to say what it is. You have to go listen to our interview.
Yeah, go watch the interview because it's really funny.
It's on YouTube. It's in Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. Ryan Nicholson wasn't the most flashy guy when it comes to points. He had 25 of them in his career. He had his first collegiate goal, if I remember correctly.
Wasn't it was last year?
It was his freshman year.
Oh, okay.
Notched his first collegiate goal in a 4-1 win over Robert Morris.
They'll be back this year. Next year.
Added all 3 tallies the following day. No, he didn't.
I love you just reading the stat sheet in the middle of this.
Dan, we're going to have a conversation about these player bios here. You're going to have to get Tim in on this. We got to fix this. It says he had a hat trick against Robert Morris, but he definitely did not. So,
whoops.
Yeah. Oh, here's a nice one. During the COVID year, he was on the dean's list. So for both semesters, attaboy Ryan. Again, another smart hockey player, which we love. My favorite Nicholson moment this year, easily far and above that game winner against Canisius with 10 seconds.
My God.
I just remember losing my ever-living mind. If you watch the replay of it, you can see me. I'm standing next to JJ. I might have punched you in the face.
I think you came close.
Because I just started jumping.
We started hugging each other, jumping up and down. And then we wouldn't let you go anywhere else the rest of that night.
No, I was stuck. I was stuck down front.
Yep.
For that whole game.
Because we started coming back as soon as you went down there. We're like, Nate doesn't get to leave. And then Ryan buried that puck.
And then he got one on senior night too, which I believe, was the game winner.
It was, yes. It was the one that put us up.
Actually, both his goals this year were game winners. So
bingo.
Take it.
Love it.
2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points. Finishes his 4 years at RAT, 121 games, 5 goals, 20 assists for 25 points. Ryan, if you come back, we got to work on some of the penalties, but that's everybody's.
Yeah. We're fairly certain he's back, but we're not going to confirm anything. So I hope he's back because I want him on the pod again.
Our decor next year is going to be ridiculous.
Good Lord. Could you imagine that? A line
another
with
guy
Nicholson
who decided
and Casero if they're both back. Good God. That's nightmare fuel for other teams.
Another guy who my dad likes because he wears 24. JJ, if you want his jersey, you're gonna have to fight my dad.
I will
for
fight
it.
your dad for that jersey.
You'll lose.
I will fight your dad for that jersey.
Our next guy. This is a long podcast, by the way.
You know what?
We're
I'm
almost
fine
there.
with that. This is a good reason to be long, highlighting the good of the seniors.
Andrew Petrucci, another fifth-year guy, made his debut at UMass Lowell, I believe, in the second game of the season. Scored his first goal in an 8-4 win over Niagara. I remember that one. That was a fun one. That was a weird weeknight game, if I remember correctly.
Was it?
Or
like
no,
it was a Tuesday
it was right
game,
before
wasn't it?
break. Yeah, it was like right before break.
It was like a Tuesday or Thursday.
Yeah, it was a
It
weird.
was a stupid game,
Yeah.
but we won. So hey.
Yeah, we won 8-4. So get, you know what, Niagara. Almost got me. He
I thought you were gonna say it for a second. I'm like, oh, he's gonna say it again.
Caught myself. Scored in a homecoming game over Merrimack. Yeah, he's not
good.
the biggest points guy. Again,
No, but he played a role, and he knew that. Petrucci.
he was on that fourth line this year. He was on that fourth line. He centered that fourth line all season, and he played phenomenal.
Yeah, he did.
He, 3 goals, 5 assists. He tied a career high with goals this year. This was the year he had the most points of his career. He had 8. Another guy that knew his role, played it very well. And he scored that second goal at Canisius that second time too. So
he always seemed like a very quiet guy, but I always kind of looked at him like a killer robot. Like the man just knew it. He just meant business.
I think we talked about that too at the beginning of the season.
We did.
Just from watching from afar, he seemed like the guy that just put his hard hat on, went and did his work, and he did it very well.
He knew what his role was.
A leader by
he
example,
exactly.
And he killed penalties. He was the first guy over the boards. After we got scored on, that line was the first line over the boards, and that's what your fourth line is. It's we need a momentum shift. Go out, bang a few guys around, and let's get some momentum back. So like we said, he played his role very well. He was very good at what he did. Definitely going to be missed. Another guy, fifth-year senior. He didn't 100%. Have to come back.
No, he could very well have moved on.
Him, Kobe, and Spencer did not have to come back, but they did. And I think that's something. That's something that I can admire for all 3 of them. Even the guys that came back last year, the 5th years. And the guys that are going to come back next year and the year after that. You can admire them for that because they didn't have to. They didn't have to. And another guy that I think was proud to be a Tiger and the way he played showed it for sure.
Absolutely.
And
last but not least.
Last but certainly not least.
Absolutely. Colby
the guy
Matthews.
That gave us a run last season that we will never forget.
Yeah.
In a game I will never forget, and a save that I will never forget. That save against Notre Dame in overtime.
Oh my God.
At Notre Dame.
Wild.
Was unreal.
It was a fantastic game for Colby.
He made that save, and the team, and we went down the other way, and Carter Wilkie
buried it
in overtime. That was fun. I remember his first. He had the task of coming in on a night after we got blown out by UMass Lowell. Logan Drackett did not play well, and it was a non-conference game in January. So usually you split your goaltenders.
Yeah.
Colby's first collegiate start was against the number 13 team in the country.
Yep.
And he made 26 saves in a 3-2 win. The reason we won the game.
Yeah. And we said over and over and over and over again this year, Colby Matthews is good enough to be a starter at a bunch of programs in the country. He has and always will be a fantastic goaltender.
Yeah. And like we said last year, he was at one point 2-0 in his career.
Yeah.
He started 2 games and he had won both. So I was like, oh, okay. He was goaltender of the week twice last year, October 11th and November 1st. He had a great start to last season. You know, he went 10-6-3 last year.
Unfortunately, he did get injured. Or no, was he injured or did he get sick?
I think Tommy came in and just kind of took the job, which is tough for a goaltender. You know, you can play really well, but then you can get the net taken from you.
Yes.
It's not a knock on Colby at all.
No, it's not.
Which he finished his career with 705 saves, 15-9-3.
We do also know, as of I think either a week or two ago, might even be shorter than that Colby is going to continue playing, but he is going to be taking his talents elsewhere.
We hope.
We hope. He did enter the transfer portal, which honestly I was not surprised by, because the fact that we know.
And you know what? I look at it this way, and I said the same thing about Will Copperly. He played his 4 years.
Yep.
If it weren't for COVID, he'd be done anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Colby Matthews can start and play games and win games
with a lot of
for
other
a
programs.
bunch of other teams in the country.
Yep.
I said it before, and I said it with Will. We love you.
Mm-hmm.
We will support you. But if you're playing us, it's game on. We don't know who you are.
I really hope he doesn't go to one of like the other teams in this conference, because I don't want to have to play him, because I love Colby Matthews. He to me is one of my favorite players. Like I have a thing for, like, I always loved kind of the goalies that, like, I want to say never played, but like I loved Christian Shore. I knew him personally. I loved Adriano. I love Colby Matthews. Like, I just always loved those guys.
Quick Ian Adriano story. I watched him and his parents just pound a plate of like 50 boneless wings at Applebee's one day. I don't know what made me think that, but Colby,
you will very much be missed.
We said it all year. We didn't have a 1-2 goalie situation. We had a 1A and a 1B.
Yep.
And
honestly, yeah.
I think all of us felt very comfortable that if, God forbid, if Tommy had gone down, that Colby could come in and do the job. And I was so glad he got to play one more game on senior night. I was so glad that senior night game meant nothing.
Because then he could play.
At all. Because he could play. And
he got he got one last win in front of the home crowd being able to play, which was great.
Mm-hmm. I still love the video of when they were smashing the boards. I think Aaron Tuckett and Colby.
Oh, and he's pounding them. Oh, that was the best.
That was so good.
That was so good. That's like a highlight of the year right there, was doing that.
And that's the class of 2023.
Mm-hmm. Like we said, we don't know who it is of that group. Pretty much, we don't know of all the seniors that could return. Some guys we've heard rumblings for, where people have said things in Discord. We don't know.
The team will officially announce it at some point.
Yeah, they'll probably set it over the summer. But
probably around. I think they announced it last year in like May.
Yeah. The only person we know for a fact is not returning is Colby Matthews. But everybody besides that is fair game.
And Caleb, because he's going to go be a doctor.
Yes, and Caleb, because Caleb's going to be a doctor and he's going to come back and be the Corner Cruise cardiologist just in case we have heart attacks during the game. Which, for the love of God, oh my God, the number of times that sentence was said this year of "I almost had a heart attack" was off the charts. That happened a couple too many times.
It was a fun year.
Yeah, it was a very fun year. And
we'll talk about it later.
We'll go more in our men's and women's season recaps that will be separately. I think we're gonna try to do the women's one next week. I hope.
Sometime soon here. Hopefully
we'll
we're gonna get that out.
Because unfortunately, Scully's schedule is now divided between every spring sport RIT has to offer, so we'll have to make sure that Dan is here, and his internet's working.
We have an opening on Thursday.
Booyah! Zoe gets to go through and do all the quick editing.
I'm looking at the schedule for RIT Athletics. We're pretty open next week, so maybe we can pound them out next week.
Speaking of people that do a lot for the show, I wanted to go through and name and not even for the show, but just for the Corner Crew in general, for their contributions and whatnot. I do want to go through and acknowledge a few people because I do think it's important to do that. All of the pet band seniors, we will miss you. We do not apologize for demanding you play Freebird every game.
Nope, I will never be sorry for
You
that.
will hear that in your dreams for the rest of your life. Be aware of that.
Deal with it.
I'm going to crop this clip out and directly send it to you on Instagram just in case you all try to avoid it. So that is true. Aaron Huss, Kate Haywood, Ryan West, anybody who made memes or graphics, Max Conway, all you guys that helped us making cool stuff. Thank you for all your hard work. You guys made a bunch of really cool graphics and fan art and whatnot. Hype videos that got made to put up. Aaron with we named him a bunch with making a bunch of the cutouts and whatnot. Who else was I gonna say? Oh my god. Oh, all of our guests that came on this year.
We wanted to have more.
Scheduling just didn't work, unfortunately. We're looking at doing some stuff over the off season, so we'll figure it out.
Don't worry. We're gonna take a little bit of a break here. We'll do the recaps, but then we'll take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, because we gotta set up some stuff.
JJ and Scully have to graduate.
That's kind of important.
So we want to make sure those two get that figured out.
Yes, but all of our guests.
Any senior from Corner Crew.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Seriously for everything.
Come back. Pull a Dom. Come back.
Yeah, come back whenever you want. I say this all the time. Corner Crew is not a student section; there's a fan section. Yep. So anybody, all and everybody are welcome.
Absolutely.
We'll miss you. I love, please stay active in Discord. I think it's the best way to keep in touch with everybody. The amount of alumni that we have in Discord is unbelievable.
I mean, there's over 500 people in the Discord now. So if you were sad about not being able to keep in touch with hockey people or just being in that community, you still can be, because now you have the opportunity to keep in touch with everybody through the Discord, which is great.
I know he's not here, and he wasn't originally part of the plan for this show, Dan Scully.
Yes, thank you, Dan.
He's probably
gonna watch this and cry, but that's okay.
He wasn't originally, when JJ and I started this in August. Holy.
Good Lord. Well, we had the idea for it in June. And then we had 15 phone calls saying how we're going to make this work. And then we started going, and then we're like, we should have Scully on for just the women's stuff, because Dan knows more about the women's team than all of us.
He follows the women's team a lot more closely than we do.
And then it just turned into Dan was just on every week.
And I was like, hey, do you want to come on it? He texted me after the preview, and he's like, it was a lot of fun, guys. I'm willing to come on anytime. I'm like, well, and then I texted JJ. I was like, I'll just have him on all the time.
We just bring Scully on permanently.
Holy, we are running out of time on Zoom.
Right.
Okay. I got a couple more things to say.
Yes. Me too.
To JJ, you for being my partner in crime all year. It takes a lot of people to do what we do. And
like Zoe,
let's
make sure we acknowledge Zoe, please.
I was getting there. Okay, Zoe doing the editing of this, keeping me in line all year. How
she does that?
That's good question. I know you and I both put a lot of work into this, and it's been a lot of fun this year.
Yes.
Don't leave me, please. I don't know if I can handle everybody down there.
Listen,
myself.
You know I'm coming back. So, I'm never leaving. Knowing my luck, I'll probably die in the building one day. That's what'll happen.
Oh, Jesus. I'm shocked I haven't already. Really, to everybody, I say Corner Crew's a family, and it really is. I know I'm getting emotional and blah, blah, blah. I'm not this kind of guy, but...
he's right.
Corner Crew's a family. I hugged about 20 random strangers after the Mercyhurst game winner. So... everybody on Discord that's active.
Yes.
Thank you. Discord has turned into something that I don't think we ever thought it would be. So
no, the people who travel to all the games and put your name and
everybody that doesn't live in Rochester that went to away
showed
games,
up anyway.
Love it. No, even the ones that Bentley and Holy Cross.
When there was an audible Corner Crew, just mobile Corner Crew, just in those. My God, it was so fun to see. I wish I could have been to those games.
I know. JJ and I joked that one year we're just gonna go to every game home and road, and it's gonna be the one. It's going to be the one year we play Arizona, Alaska. That's what we're going to be committed to it.
North Dakota. We're gonna play all those teams like that. So before we wrap up, obviously we're gonna do probably the next couple weeks. We're gonna be doing the women's season review and the men's season review for the year, going over all of our highlights and whatnot and what we think.
We're gonna do our own awards.
Yes, we have our own awards. That may end up being a separate show, or it might be a separate episode.
We'll chuck
We'll
it
mix
on
them
the
in.
end of the
we'll do something like that.
end of the recaps.
But we also are planning some fun stuff for the off season. We are, like I said, we are going to take a little bit of a break, but we will be around.
Graduation is important.
That's an important thing, yeah. We will also probably be doing some episodes and whatnot, keeping track of the news. At the time of this recording, the transfer portal did open today, and there was like a literal friggin' surge of people going into it. Thankfully, none of them from us yet. Knock on wood. I don't think that's going to happen, but we will definitely be sure to do podcasts, to do little tidbits for certain episodes or whatnot. Maybe just inserts,
even if it's just quick little Instagram.
Yeah,
things,
it might just be a hey. These guys are coming here, or these guys are going there. Who knows? There's all kinds.
These guys aren't getting any better. RAT's still winning Atlantic next year.
Facts. But yeah, we have some really fun stuff planned for the off season leading up to October the 7th when the men's team comes back. Because I don't think we know when the women's season opener is yet, do we?
It'll be
probably
early September.
Yeah.
There's 201 days until the Tigers play St. Lawrence up in Canada.
Let's
as of today, which is March 20th.
I'm ready. Also, if the players are watching this, do a jersey sale because we need new jerseys, guys. Come on. Even though you have
I need new ones. These are outdated.
Yes, I need some new ones too.
I need a new black one.
I will fight you.
I need an orange one. No, I need an orange one.
Okay, the orange jerseys this year, magnificent. Petition, coach, if you're watching this, wear orange all next year. Just forget everything else. Wear the orange and black all next year.
Yeah, can the white jerseys be late again?
Yeah, I don't.
That was fun. We only got one home series with orange at home, which sucked.
They're so good though. That being said, thank you all for watching. We will be back very soon for some new episodes. If you have not already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell notification so you are notified when all the off-season funness begins. You can also listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Be a live show, but who knows?
That would be awesome and also chaotic.
Be bad.
There would be no Zoe to keep us from going insane if that happens. So
no, she'd just be sitting in there with a
taser.
To throw at us.
A taser.
Taser. Jesus. The squirt bottle for the
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Oh, I love this podcast. All right, everybody have a great night. We'll see you very soon. Go Tigers.
Roll Tide.